Hare Krishna. Welcome to this new episode of the show Śāstra-cakṣu, where we break free from relative opinions of imperfect human beings and present to you the absolute facts as revealed by Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the Vedic literatures. I am Tattvavit from ISKM, Singapore, International Sri Krishna Mandir, Singapore. And today we want to talk about Rāmāyaṇa, because tomorrow is Sri Rāma-Navami, the 5th of April 2017. We have great festivities in the evening and we will talk about it in a while. But before that, we just wanted to show up today to share with you a common misconception which people have about Rāmāyaṇa and similar other Vedic histories like Mahabharata and the Puranas. The misconception is that many people think that this is mythology, or mythology as the Indians would like to pronounce it. Now, mythology means a study of myths. If these are myths, why should we study them? What is the point? If religion is just a collection of myths, then there is no point in studying it. So religion is not myth. So these descriptions are not myths. They are actual facts. But because of atheistic propaganda, they have been termed as mythology, and we have more or less accepted that word, and we have described all our sacred Vedic histories by this word as mythology. Now, that happens because we do not receive this knowledge from authorized sources. When we receive the Vedic knowledge from a person who is not connected to God, who is not connected to Krishna or Ram, then we get confused with all these different interpretations. So therefore we need to understand the science. This is a great science of God. So we need to understand the science from God Himself or from His devotees, the bona fide Guru, the bona fide spiritual master who is coming in the authorized disciplic succession. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu. We need to understand the science in the parampara system. We're not talking about family parampara. We're talking about Guru Sishya parampara. So we need to understand the words of God as laid out in the Vedic scriptures in the proper way, in the proper channel called the parampara. So because of this confusions caused by imperfect reception of knowledge from imperfect sources, we have formulated our own opinions on these sacred descriptions. One of the common reasons why we consider this Rāmāyaṇa as mythology is that the descriptions in Rāmāyaṇa do not tally with our present day experience of this world. For example, Lord Ramachandra had built a bridge of stones floating on water. And Lord Ramachandra, Lakshman, and the thousands and millions of monkeys, the Vanara army, crossed the ocean on a stone bridge that was floating on water. How is that possible? So, because it does not tally with our present day experience of this world, or it defeats or defies natural phenomena, so we lose faith in such descriptions. So this is one reason why people say that it is mythology. But here is something we need to understand. The Lord can do anything He likes. If the Lord wants that let the gravitational force disappear. It can happen. That means He is the Lord. That is the meaning of being the Supreme Lord. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Mayadhyakshena prakriti. The material nature is working under my direction, Krishna is saying. So He is not under the direction of the material nature. He calls the shots. The laws of material nature are working under His direction. And if He wants, He can change it. That's the sweet will of the Lord. Unless He can do something like that, what is the meaning of God then? If He is under the rules of the material world, what is the meaning of God? That means He is not all-powerful. So He shows His all-powerful nature by doing activities which are uncommon. Therefore, Krishna's another name, or Lord Ram's another name, is Urukrama. Urukrama means somebody who can do uncommon activities, not possible for anyone else. Therefore, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 9, that Janma karma chame divyam evam yovetti tattvataha tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti sojuna. He says, Janma karma chame divyam. My birth and activities are transcendental. They are divine. They are not mundane like ours. See? And then he says, Evam yovetti tattvataha. We need to understand His activities in tattvataha, means in depth, in truth. Not to have just a superficial understanding. Oh, Lord Ram came and he married Sita and he defeated some demon, and not like that. We need to understand the import, the deep import of each one of His Leelas, as much as He has revealed to us, and as much as is revealed by the great Acharyas, who are perfected by devotional service to the Supreme Lord. So such acceptance of knowledge we can benefit from. Otherwise, if we don't take knowledge from Him, then if we speculate, then we will start to doubt Him, because our tiny intelligence cannot accommodate the infinite glories of the Supreme Lord. So therefore, we need to have that faith that the Lord can do anything He likes. So therefore, we should not doubt His activities, which may not conform to ordinary human activities. The second reason why people may consider it as a mythology is that it does not conform to the so-called scientific viewpoint. For example, Rāmāyaṇa happened at least about 1 million years ago. Rāmāyaṇa transpired in the age of Treta Yuga. And after Treta Yuga, there was Dvapara Yuga. And in Dvapara Yuga, the period of Dvapara Yuga lasts for 864,000 years. And after that, this Kali Yuga has started. This Kali Yuga will last for 432,000 years, of which only 5,000 years have passed. So even if you say that the Rāmāyaṇa has happened in the last, towards the end of Treta Yuga, just before the start of Dvapara Yuga. So the entire Dvapara Yuga is still there, 864,000 years. After which another 5,000 years, 869,000 years. So at least 869,000 years back, the Rāmāyaṇa happened. Roughly 1 million years. And actually it is more than that, a little more than that. So if we take knowledge from our so-called science as it is present today, 1 million years ago was some kind of ice age or stone age or some dinosaur age or whatever. And here we have description of Rāmāyaṇa where there are cities, there are people, there are human beings, there were monkeys, there were some demons, and they were not just ordinary demons, very sophisticated in their weaponry and in their language, in their culture. this knowledge, this description beats or defeats or defies the description that is given in the so-called science. Because so-called science says man only started, or civilization only started a few tens of thousands of years back. So it does not conform to our modern scientific worldview. But here is the point we need to consider: whom we want to place our faith in. On the so-called scientists who are imperfect human beings, or on the perfect person, God. The words of Krishna are perfect. God does not come here to cheat us. He has no business by cheating us. He comes for our welfare, and He speaks only the truth. So we need to have that faith in His words. Just like Arjuna said to Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, text 14, he said, Sarvam etadritam manye yanmam vadasi Keshava nahite bhagavan vyaktim vidur deva nadanava. He said, Sarvam etadritam manye. Whatever you have told me, Keshava, Krishna, I accept it as truth. I will not challenge whatever you say. That is the way we should accept the word of God. Who are we to challenge Him? Our tiny intelligence is not capable. And what will we gain by challenging Him? He is coming for our benefit. And if we challenge Him, it is to our own peril. So we need to accept Krishna's words as they are. This is not blind faith. This is informed faith. Blind faith means I put my faith in anybody who says anything. That's blind faith. But if I put my faith in somebody who is an authority, that's informed faith. Just like, for example, there may be some rumors of some news that has happened in somewhere, another part of the world. Now, I would like to check whether that's real or not. What I will do? I may go to BBC or CNN, established news channels. And if they report the same thing, then, oh yes, this is truth. But what am I doing actually? I am placing my faith in those channels, news channels. But that is not blind faith, that is informed faith. I am placing my faith in an authority because I cannot find out personally whether that's a fact or not. I cannot go there and see whether it's actually fact or not. But still I want to have that information. So I need to leverage on authoritative descriptions. In that way I can gain knowledge about a place or a person whom I do not know otherwise. Similarly, we need to take the words of God as authority and have faith in them. This is informed faith. It is said, Ishvarer vakya nahi dosha eshav. There is no fault in the words of God. And arshavignya vakya nahi dosha eshav. In those devotees, great devotees who have whose only business is to render pure devotional service to the Supreme Lord, they also do not commit any mistakes in what they say. So we need to have faith in the descriptions of Krishna and his pure devotees, in the great acharyas. This is the proper way to understand. So we should not try to match and see whether the descriptions of the scriptures match with our modern scientific worldview. So we should not, because the scientists are just speculating what would have happened millions of years ago. They did not see, they have no means to find out what actually happened then. But Krishna knows what happened. See? So, and then the third reason why people may consider it as mythology is because it was written by a human called Valmiki Muni. Now, The answer is that Valmiki Muni is not an ordinary human being, as we have just discussed. He was a pure devotee, and just as we have just discussed, pure devotees who have surrendered unto the Supreme Lord do not make any mistakes. And Valmiki Muni meditated for 60,000 years on the name of Ram. He was chanting Ram, 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 Ram for 60,000 years after being initiated by Sri Narada Muni. And after having perfected his life in that way, then he took to the task of writing Rāmāyaṇa. And the interesting part is that he wrote the Rāmāyaṇa well before the advent of Lord Ram. And as Lord Ramchandra appeared in this world, his activities exactly followed the descriptions that Valmiki already predicted in his Rāmāyaṇa. This is the speciality of a pure devotee of Krishna or Ram. They become Trikalagnya. Trikalagnya means Trikala. Kala means time. Tri means three. Gya means one who knows. So the three phases of time, namely past, present and future, the pure devotees know everything as much as the Supreme Lord wants them to know. We can also see in the example of Srila Vyasadeva. Vyasadeva has written the Srimad Bhagavatam and all the other Vedic scriptures. And if you see the Srimad Bhagavatam, he has described the symptoms of the Kali Yuga. If we take the history, Vyasadeva wrote this Srimad Bhagavatam 5,000 years back, just before the start of Kali Yuga. But whatever he said that would happen in Kali Yuga have already started happening. Half of the predictions that he has mentioned have already proven true. And more are yet to come. So this is the perfection, the level of perfection that the words of Krishna and his pure representatives display. The last major reason why one might consider it as mythology is that, all right, even if I have accepted that the Lord has done great deeds, uncommon deeds, and Valmiki is a perfect person, he has written down. But how is it possible that whatever Valmiki wrote about at least 1,000,000 years ago is being transferred in the same pure manner without any deviation or distortion in the descriptions after so many millions of years in today? The fourth reason why one might consider this as mythology is that, all right, granted, Lord Ramachandra is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can do anything he likes, and Valmiki is a perfected sage, he has written down the Rāmāyaṇa, but how can we ensure that the Rāmāyaṇa that we know today is the same Rāmāyaṇa that Valmiki wrote at least 1,000,000 years back? How sure can we be that the knowledge has transferred as is without any distortion or deviation? Here is where the parampara system comes. The parampara system, Guru Shishya parampara, this is the proper way in which the spiritual knowledge is handed down as is. This is one of the reasons why His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, our spiritual master, has particularly named his commentary on the Bhagavad Gita as Bhagavad Gita as it is. There are thousands of commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita, and every author has presented his own interpretation of the great book. But that's not the way we should understand the Bhagavad Gita. We should understand Bhagavad Gita as Arjuna understood it. Arjuna said, Sarvameta-dhritam manye. I accept as truth all that you have told me, Krishna. Not that, he did not say, oh Krishna, I like this part of the Bhagavad Gita that you have told me. I don't like this part of the Bhagavad Gita. No. He said, all that you have told me, I accept as truth. And unfortunately, there have been so many atheists in the garb of so-called spiritualists who dare to comment on the Bhagavad Gita, although they have no qualification whatsoever in this field. So the qualification for a person to describe the signs of Krishna, the signs of God, is that he has to be a very confidential devotee of Krishna. Just like a confidential family member can describe about the head of the family. A person, an outsider, can't describe about the head of a family because he does not know the person. Similarly, a confidential devotee, he knows this rahasyam, secret. Krishna says, why I am revealing this science to you, Arjuna? Why? Because bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hi etad uttamam. In the 4th chapter, 3rd verse, Krishna said clearly to Arjuna that because Arjuna, you are my devotee and friend, therefore you are able to understand this transcendental mystery of this science. It's a mystery. But if one is a devotee, then it's no more a mystery. That's why in the Brahma Samhita it is stated, Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhaktau govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Krishna is not easily accessible to non-devotees. Naham prakasha sarvasya. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, I cover myself and I don't exhibit myself to the non-devotees. But adurlabham atma bhaktau, very easily accessible to devotees. He is only conquered by devotion. Therefore, let us all become devotees of Lord Ram, become devotees of Lord Krishna. And in this Kali Yuga, it is very easily done. Just by chanting this Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, we can become devotees of Krishna. And all the dirty things that are in our heart, that are obstacles to our pure understanding or pure devotion to the Lord, will be washed away, will be cleansed. And we will gain that faith more and more. And as we gain that faith more and more in the Lord, and as we become more and more purified by chanting His name, by learning about Him from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and such authentic literatures, we become purified and attain love of God. So, I would like to take this opportunity to invite you, along with your family and friends, to come and attend Sri Ram Navami celebrations at International Sri Krishna Mandir, 9 Lorong 29 Geylang, Unit 03-02, on the 5th of April, which is tomorrow, from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. So we have Arati, we have Abhishek ceremony, we have a cultural show including drama, and of course we have Prasadam. Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Ram.